Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 is ending with a controversy that is questioning our army's secular credentials. It started, as always, with a viral photograph. It's right behind you. The army chief, that is General Upendra Dwivedi, accompanying Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to the Mahakaleshwar Temple in Ujjain. But that wasn't the problem. The problem, according to critics, is that General Upendra Dwivedi docked his uniform and dressed up like a quote-unquote Mahant for the rituals that followed. Now, while the Defence Minister, unaware of the impending criticism, said that he had fulfilled a lifelong dream, the imagery turned into a nightmare for the army.
महाकाल का दर्शन करने की एक लंबे समय से इच्छा थी, लेकिन आप जानती हैं कि जब तक महाकाल चाहेंगे नहीं तब तक उनका कोई दर्शन कर नहीं सकता। उनकी कृपा हुई और मैं आकर उनके चरणों में अपना मस्तक टेकने का मुझे अवसर प्राप्त हुआ है।
Now, the criticism came thick and fast from the opposition. The National Conference wanted to know why the chief of a secular army had to drop his uniform and dress up like a Mahant. The TMC's Saket Gokhale took a jibe at the Defence Minister, who had conducted a puja for Rafale jets when they came to India. But not everyone in the opposition today stood up to criticize the army chief. The Congress and the Samajwadi Party have maintained a distance from the controversy, refusing to get into it, saying it's a matter of faith.
अब चूंकि राजनाथ सिंह जी वहाँ गए हैं तो लगता है कि आर्मी चीफ उस मंदिर के महंत हैं जो राजनाथ सिंह की अगुवाई कर रहे हैं। तो अनफॉर्चुनेट है कि किसी आर्मी चीफ को इस तरह नहीं जाना चाहिए। उसकी अपनी एक सोच हो सकती है अपना, लेकिन उनका धर्म जो है वो मुल्क की हिफाजत करना है और आर्मी के का जो लोग हैं वो किसी भी धर्म के साथ नहीं जुड़ते हैं, वो हर एक की हिफाजत करते हैं।
अगर इफ्तार पार्टी हो, 5,000 रुपए की चांदी की थाली में खाना परोसा जाए और वो यूपीए सरकार करे तो वो सेक्युलरिज्म है। अगर चाहे प्रधानमंत्री हो, रक्षा मंत्री हो, अपने धर्म का पालन करता है जिससे किसी को ठेस नहीं पहुंचती है, तो ये तुष्टीकरण करने वाली पार्टियां जो है इनको दर्द होता है।
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh along with the army chief had offered prayers to Mahakaleshwar Temple, to which the TMC has replied and said that earlier they had used Nimu Mirchi for Rafale and now they are
I don't want to comment on that. It's a matter of faith. I don't want to get into that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the army has no religion. Its holy book is the Constitution. Its dharam is to protect the honor of our tricolour. But officers and soldiers have their own faith, which they practice in harmony with each other. This is faith that gives them the strength to deal with the tough conditions they work in. Sometimes it is plus 52 degrees, sometimes it's minus 50 degrees. You need faith to keep you going. Every army unit has a Sarv Dharm Sthal, which essentially means a place of worship, prayers for all religions. Where else would you find a temple, a gurudwara, a mosque, and even churches under the same roof? The army chief is Hindu. He went to a temple to pray. There are some other pictures which will tell you how and why the army is secular. A corps commander in Kashmir, again a Hindu, offered namaz during Ramzan in Srinagar. We'll put that picture out for you. All army chiefs, irrespective of their religions, visit the Golden Temple at least once during their tenure. It is not uncommon for a Muslim CEO, which is a commanding officer, to fast on Navaratras just because the troops he commands are Hindus. When these, ladies and gentlemen, are the secular values of the army, should the army chief be criticized today for visiting Mahakaleshwar Temple? Let me go across to my guests who are joining me this evening. Dr. Kushal Kant Mishra is spokesperson of the BJP. Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni is a defense expert joining us on the broadcast. Touseef Ahmed Khan is a lawyer. He's a political advocate. And Advocate Nilofer Masood is leader of the National Conference. She's joining us on the broadcast as well. Thank you all for joining us. General Kulkarni, I'm going to start with you for obvious reasons. Were you a bit taken aback with the controversy that started soon after these pictures started going viral? I mean, honestly, I have never seen an army chief dress the way General Upendra Dwivedi is dressed. But the fact is, he's a Hindu and he's a practicing Hindu. And if he goes to a temple and offers prayer in whatever clothing he wishes to, that's personal choice. Why criticize him for it?
Shreya, absolutely. I am in full agreement. There is no need to criticize him at all. It's his personal faith and we all dress up like that. There's nothing wrong in it. If the temple was en route to my work, well, I wouldn't change. But if it's part of the itinerary, I'm going there, definitely I'll change. If I go to the Golden Temple, I do change. If I go to a masjid, I do change. And you rightly said, we have Sarva Dharma Sthal. We call it the MMG, Mandir, Masjid, Gurudwara, Girjagar. It's all in one. Let's not doubt the credentials or the integrity of anybody. The army is secular, remains secular. We are a religion, our religion is army. And we are trained that way. And definitely, we go with the religion. So what? If you are dressed up like that, nothing happens. You know, when you go to a temple, he obviously puts a cloth around you as a mark of respect. You go to a Gurudwara, they do the same. If you go to any other, if I'm posted in Leh, I'm going to the stupas, I go to the gumpas over there. Nothing whatsoever. I don't think everybody must keep their mouths shut on these issues. That's what I would say. The army is secular, remains secular, and everybody, it's a hope. It's something that gives a person a strength. I don't realize, I don't understand. Why should anybody criticize? When I'm posted in Doda and Kishtwar, I go to all the shrines, I go to the masjids over there, I go to the madrasas over there. And there are times when during Ramzan, they dress up like them. So what? They try and put a cap on my head. I do wear it, the skull cap. I do have food with them. Nothing. Wherever I am posted, wherever I go, I become as part of them. That's because, you know, it's so much better. Rather than trying to show that you're going in uniform, you don't go in uniform in these kind of places. Definitely it would be out of place to go in uniform to a place like this. And I don't think anybody who criticizes it is doing it. And I would call that person a pseudo-secular, who he does not seem to understand.
Okay.
Yeah, Shreya.
No, General Kulkarni, I'm going to ask you a question that many people in my newsroom were asking. Because as I said, maybe the pictures were not out, which is why I've not seen an army chief, you know, dress up the way in a dhoti and a saffron, cloth before this, which is why I think many people were taken aback. I want to ask you, did the army chief have an option of going into the temple, into the Mahakaleshwar Temple with his uniform? Many people are saying, Jao, it's your religion. But why did you drop your uniform? Why did you dress up the way the Raksha Mantri had to dress up? He's a civil politician. He can do whatever he wants to. But you represent a secular army. Should you not have just walked in your uniform? After all, General, you know, whether you're going to, and you have had this experience, whether you're going to the Golden Temple, you're going to mosques, and we have some pictures there of army officers offering namaz as well. Usually officers are mostly never seen outside their uniform.
Shreya, what you're saying, if I'm going to the Sarva Dharma Sthal, which is within my battalion or a regiment, I would be dressed up. If during the office hours, I would dress up in uniform. If it's in the evening time, if there's a function in the evening time, I'll go dressed up in CVs. If I go to a particular place, especially going to that place, I will dress up in that man. It doesn't make any, this thing, I'm quite surprised. Why should anybody say anything for these kind of things? It doesn't do anything. It gives the chief the strength, it gives everybody. I don't think anybody in the army would like to comment, why is he dressed up like that? He's dressed up because in any case he's a Hindu. There's no denying the fact he's a Hindu. And of course he takes pride in being a Hindu.
Correct.
But he respects everybody. That's the, the strength of the Indian army, the strength of India. We all are whatever religion that we come from, but we are all secular. We all, for us, constitution, for us, India, the territorial integrity and the sovereignty of the nation that we defend, all of it gives us strength. It doesn't weaken us at all. No, not at all, Shreya. Yeah.
Okay. Advocate Masood, you're joining us on the broadcast. It is your leader, Bashir Ahmed, that actually sparked off this controversy. He says that काम क्या है आर्मी का और हमारी आर्मी चीफ का? उनका काम है मुल्क की हिफाजत करना. Nilufar ji, therefore I want to ask you, if an army chief practices his faith and goes to a temple wearing whatever clothing he wants to, how does it impact what he does for a job, which is doing hifazat of this country?
Actually, it is not the question of hifazat. Everybody has faith and he or she has a right to practice according to his or her religion. The question is that in previous years, we have seen that there are some autonomous bodies also, like there was judiciary, which is, and we believe them to be autonomous body. But when the ex-CGI is being taken as the MP, questions are being raised. Questions are being raised that why a person who was of such a stature that he was representing, who he was the chief justice of India, and then the same person after retirement is being given the position in the parliament, in the same parliament. So it should not be like that. It should not happen, and that is the reason people raise queries about these things. I believe that this country is a secular country. Everybody has a right to propel or propagate his or her faith according to his faith. So that is the reason. As far as the army chief and what has happened, it gives an impression as if army being the secular forces, they are being dragged into the politics. So there should be no politics in it. No such space should be given to any person to speak about this thing or to raise any question about the autonomous
but
bodies.
Neolfer ji,
that is the reason.
बट नहीं न्योलफर जी, ये जो पूरा पॉलिटिक्स है एंड ड्रैगिंग सेक्युलर आर्मी इनटू पॉलिटिक्स है, ये तो आपके बशीर अहमद साहब ने शुरू किया. वही पूछ रहे हैं व्हाई इज द आर्मी चीफ ड्रेस्ड अप लाइक अ महंत. तो शुरुआत तो आपने की है ना. इसको सेक्टेरियन पॉलिटिक्स तो आप लोग बना रहे हैं. अब आप मुझे बताइए, अगर ये सेम आर्मी चीफ, एक मिनट, अगर ये सेम आर्मी चीफ की पिक्चर आती एक मॉस्क में एक टोपी लगाए हुए, आप इतना बवाल खड़ा करती? आप नहीं, मतलब आपकी पार्टी के लोग इतना बवाल खड़ा करते? और ये होता है बहुत बार. नमाज जब ईद होती है, ईद की जो नमाज होती है, उसके लिए सारे आर्मी चीफ जाते हैं और सारे कमांडर्स जाते हैं अपने ट्रूप्स के साथ रहने के लिए.
Yeah, I'm very clear that if a person is believing in one faith, he or she has a fundamental right to do as per his religion. We are not raising question on that. What I said, जो मैंने कहा, I said that जब आप एक particular color को आप जोड़ते हैं किसी religion के साथ, like green is being said that it is the color of the Muslims, when it is not. When it is not. Say, for example, the same person would have been wearing the green uniform and he would have been sitting in the mosque praying, offering his prayers. Then the question would have been raised by the other people that why he is wearing green color. What is the impact of that thing? What you want to show? So everything has pros and cons. हर चीज की pros and cons होते हैं. That is the reason जब आप एक politician के साथ चलते हैं, when you walk with a politician, he being in a uniform may have a different impact, but he being wearing some other clothes will have different impact. Maybe it is in that perspective the things have come up before this audience.
ठीक है, बट न्योलफर जी एक चीज याद रखिए कि हाँ, राजनाथ सिंह इज अ पॉलिटिशियन, ऑफ कोर्स ही इज अ पॉलिटिशियन, बट ही इज आल्सो इंडियाज डिफेंस मिनिस्टर एंड ही इज द आर्मी चीफ्स बॉस. So if you go with your boss to the temple and offer prayers, I don't think it should be the cause of any controversy. Anyhow, since it has become one, that is why we are discussing it. Can I just quickly bring in Touseef Ahmed Khan as well? Touseef, what is so offending about these pictures? I mean, the army has established secular credentials, right? Since the 1950s, we know that India's politics, which is sometimes a minefield of sectarian divisions, tries to seep into the armed forces as well, and for the army it's a minefield. They have to learn to navigate it. But the fact is that the army's secular credentials are for everyone to see. Why criticize the army chief for no rhyme or reason?
So, Shreya, the army chief should not feel compelled in the presence of the defense minister to become a purohit of a mandir in order to visit a mandir. He should have the freedom to enter the mandir even in his official tour with his uniform, because uniform is a very sacred thing for each and every soldier, each and every jawan, and each and every officer of the highest rank. They wish, and every of the jawan wish that if they die in their uniform. And they also wish that even when their dead body is brought, it should be brought in uniform, draped with Indian flag. That's the spirit. Why should an army officer be forced by, or an army officer should feel compelled in presence of defense minister to wear an attire generally worn by a Purohit? He is not the Purohit of a mandir. Even inside the mandir, you see, the faith is personal, faith is individual, and faith is inside the heart of each and every individual. And therefore, he should not be feel compelled. That is where the question is. Today, we are living in a scenario where the Chief Justice of India admits, the former Chief Justice of India admits that he passed a judgment after consulting God, that he had some kind of divine intervention and therefore passed a judgment with consultation with God in the Ayodhya judgment that he was referring to. Why should the constitution position holder, like whether it is a Chief Justice or whether it is an army chief, should feel compelled to wear the religion on their sleeve? I mean, they have every right to do so. If he was on a vacation, if the army chief was on a vacation, on a personal visit with the family to a mandir, I don't think anyone would have raised any objection. He's on an official tour accompanying a defense minister. We all know how defense minister is.
Touseef, I'm going to interrupt you here. I'm going to interrupt you here. Tell me, how are you sure that the army chief was compelled to wear this Purohit dress? You are saying he has the freedom to practice his religion. While you're saying he has the freedom to practice his religion, you're actually telling him how to practice it, only in uniform.
No, of course not. I am saying, why should he be feeling compelled to wear it and, shun his uniform?
So how do you know he's feeling compelled?
To wear 24/7.
No, how do you know he's feeling compelled?
He's a military chief.
Do you stay inside the army chief's head that you know whether he's feeling compelled or not?
That is what apparently it looks like. Why else?
It could also be personal choice.
We live in a time where the Chief Justice of India admits that judgment was passed after consulting God, after consulting Bhagwan. It's all on record. We cannot turn blind. This is a environment that BJP has created. That unless you toe a line, you cannot expect any political favor. Everyone has to retire. Even a army chief has to retire. And the prospect of the post-retirement position maybe compels people to do things which they generally would not. This has been discussed and debated in Parliament. Arun Jaitley discussed this. So why the government of India has a responsibility to give a free hand to the army boss to wear whatever they want, to accompany and wherever they want on an official tour. Had this been a personal, on vacation tour with a family, no one would have raised any objection. He is on a duty. He's on a professional
army
duty.
chiefs rarely get any vacation.
Everyone loves to wear the uniform. Each and every army officer loves to wear the uniform and would not be able to shun the uniform unless he's compelled to. And I don't think there is any compulsion by the temple authority.
Dr. Mishra, नहीं आप क्या बात कर रहे हो तौसीफ? आप क्या बात कर रहे हो? आप कह रहे हो कि जो सोल्जर पैदा होता है आईएमए से निकलता है, आईएमए से निकलने से ही and till the time he hangs his boots he's only in uniform. What logic is this, Dr. Kushal Kant Mishra? Essentially, एक minute. No, let's get the BJP in, please. Touseef, it is sacred, but your faith is sacred as well. And while the army is secular, every soldier and every officer has the right to practice his religion. Your religion, your faith keeps you going when the temperatures are minus 52 degrees or plus 52 degrees. Don't take that away from them.
Denial to that.
And they practice their faith in great harmony. डॉक्टर मिश्रा जरा आइए, क्योंकि यहाँ पे तौसीफ भाई बोल रहे हैं कि सिर्फ मोदी राज में भक्ति करेगा कोई इंसान तभी उसको कोई पोजीशन मिलेगी. अगर आर्मी चीफ इस रूप में नहीं आते तो उनसे नाराज हो जाती गवर्नमेंट.
श्रेया, मैं पूछना चाहूंगा, मोदी जी तब नहीं थे जब संविधान सभा बनी थी, ना उस समय वो प्रधानमंत्री थे, ना कोई कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पोस्ट पे थे. उसके बाद भी जब पहला संविधान लिखा गया था, उस संविधान के अंदर हनुमान जी की फोटो है, राम जी का दरबार है, बुद्ध जी की फोटो है, महावीर जी का है, गीता देते हुए उपदेश का फोटो है. तो क्या देश संविधान से ही तो चल रहा है? तो सबसे पहले क्या ये बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर के जो संविधान लिखा था उसको बदलने की बात करेंगे? यहाँ पर कुछ नहीं है श्रेया जी, ये केवल 30% जो वोट बैंक है वेस्ट बंगाल में, जो अब बढ़कर के शायद 35% से ज्यादा हो गया है, उसको अपीज करने की शेयर पॉलिटिक्स और कुछ नहीं है। आप ये बताइए, जब हम पैदा होते हैं तो सबसे पहले इंसान होते हैं, फिर मेल फीमेल होते हैं, फिर हम हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख ईसाई होते हैं, फिर हम सिटीजन होते हैं, फिर हम किसी पोस्ट पे जाते हैं। पर हम कोई भी जिस एक्ट में जाते हैं इसका ये मतलब नहीं कि हम इंसान नहीं रहेंगे। अगर हम आर्मी में काम करते हैं या हम कोई भी, जब हम आर्मी लड़ती है और जब अपोजिट आर्मी को मारती है, तो किल करती है, तो क्या वो इंसान नहीं होते हैं? वो देश के लिए काम करते हैं, वो अपना धर्म निभाते हैं। कोई भी आदमी अपनी किसी भी ड्रेस में धर्म निभा रहा तो इन्हें क्या प्रॉब्लम है? अभी श्रेया जी, यही उल्टा हुआ होता कि अगर वो ड्रेस में गए होते और मंदिर में ले गए होते तब भी इन्हें समस्या होती। अब वो ड्रेस में नहीं गए थे तब भी इन्हें समस्या है। कुछ नहीं है, केवल पिटी पॉलिटिक्स है। और यही वजह है इंडी गठबंधन के इनके साथी भी इनके साथ नहीं है, क्योंकि सबको समझ में आ गया है देश संविधान में चलता है और हमारा संविधान जो है उसकी आत्मा ही हिंदू धर्म से आती है। इसी वजह से तो इतने सारे चित्र बनाए गए थे। हमारा देश डिवाइड हुआ था हिंदू मुसलमान के नाम पे, और उसके बाद हिंदू धर्म का आत्मा इस संविधान में है। और मुझे लगता है कि अगर आपका फंडामेंटल क्लियर है, आप अपनी ड्यूटी प्रॉपर कर रहे हैं, तो आप क्या वस्त्र पहनते हैं, कुछ भी पहनते हैं, उससे किसी को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। ये हिंदू धर्म ही हमें सिखाता है कि हमारे लिए धर्म ही कर्म ही धर्म है, जो हमारा काम वही हमारा धर्म है। तो मुझे नहीं समझ में आता ये राजनीति हो क्यों रही है। पर आंसर यह है 35% वोट बैंक जो बांग्लादेशी रोहिंग्या इन्फिल्ट्रेट करके वेस्ट बंगाल में आ गए हैं। अगली बार इनकी सरकार ने, यानी उनको अपीज करने के लिए, पूरे देश के मुसलमानों को शर्मसार करने के लिए ये केवल अपीजमेंट पॉलिटिक्स कर रहे हैं और कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं।
नहीं, मुझे नहीं लगता कि देश के सारे मुसलमान भी इस कंट्रोवर्सी से मतलब इत्तेफाक रखते होंगे। बट डॉक्टर कुशल, आई डिसएग्री विद यू ऑन वन पॉइंट. Before I get Touseef in, I disagree with you. You said we are all born humans, that is true. And then we get divided into genders, male, female. But उसके बाद धर्म नहीं आता है, तीसरे नंबर पे देश आता है. आप इंडियन है हिंदू मुस्लिम होने से पहले. चलिए, very quickly, Touseef, just respond to what Kushal ji is saying. Just respond to what Kushal ji is saying, and then I'll move to the general here. I'll give him the last word.
No, Kushal ji is saying that we are objecting to this gesture because we want to win elections and we follow appeasement politics. So, for his kind information, elections are not coming in Bengal until good 3 years. So there is no reason for him to tag this with politics, and he must admit the truth. If this is not only a one-off incident. This has happened even before. I gave an example of the Chief Justice of India, former Chief Justice of India was admitted. So this is the kind of environment that BJP has created, that where the people holding high official position who is due to retire feel compelled to, to wear the religion on the sleeves, to be visibly, pleasing to the eye of the high and mighty in the government, if they wish any favorable post after retirement. That is what it is. The fact is what I've stated.
I've heard you. I've heard you. I will let General Kulkarni have the last word. General Kulkarni, you have 20 seconds to respond to what Touseef is saying.
Firstly, Shreya, army is apolitical. Number two, to us, nation comes first, always and every time. The chief is not compelled. He'd rather be a part of everybody rather than go in uniform and show himself as the chief and get any privileges over there. No, that's not what it was meant for. So first and foremost, he's not compelled. He decided to wear. After all, he's going to a temple, and one of those 12 Jyotirlings is going to. It's a very, very sacred temple, and therefore, when he is in Mao, and if he's gone to Ujjain, which is not Mao, which is far away, and he's gone and paid obedience to the such a old cultural heritage, spiritual temple, which is of, from Purana times, 6th century, 12th century, 18th century. Raoji Shinde kept his, pagdi onto it when he was to go for the third battle of Panipat. So it has a history behind it, and therefore, let's not drag the chief into this. He is not compelled at all. Army is apolitical, and we remain apolitical. To us, the nation comes first, always, and every time. Yeah.
All right, General Kulkarni, we leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much. Kushal, Dr. Kushal Mishra, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Touseef, for joining us. And thank you, Advocate Nilufar Masood, for joining us as well. Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 ending on what many people will call an unnecessary controversy. But since all of you were talking about it, we decided to debate it. Have a very, very happy 2025. And will we see more such unnecessary controversies in the coming year? I bet we will. Should keep it fun. Thank you very much for watching.